Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Nouns on the Air with me, Aubtoshi, and our co-host, Cheffo, who we will be bringing on screen in just a second. We go live every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We kind of got the time messed up a little bit yesterday, but we go live at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST. We are live right now from Cannes, France. Cannes, France. It's been incredible here for the festival. We were able to come. We've covered a couple of the events that we've done together here. But before we go any further, obviously, it's amazing to see you guys here. Thank you so much for participating and watching the stream as always. We do notice that we do have some streamers that still aren't subscribed to us. So if you like the stream, if you like watching us go live and the clips that we have, like, please subscribe. It means the world to me. YouTube is the best place, but you could also be watching this live right now on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Twitch. So let us know which platform you like watching that on. And always, our chat is open while we're here live. We want to communicate with you guys, so let us know what is good. And without further ado, our resident chef and co-host, Cheffo, what is good?
How's it going, Aubtoshi?
Good. I feel like I'm a little bit larger than you on screen today, but it's okay. We're good. We're gonna make that happen. I'm also like brighter.
Fine.
I'm in a spotlight right now.
I'm fine with that.
How is your day today?
Good. I am in a little bit of a food coma. I just had a
I know.
delicious pasta carbonara, and it was stunning. It was wonderful. You know, we're here working. We got a little takeout food, but I mean, even the takeout was incredible.
It's so good.
I'm pretty surprised by the amount of Italian food here in town. So, yeah, loved it.
Dude, I know. And so yesterday we did mess up the time. I thought 4 p.m. was going to be the correct time. That was the correct time for East Coast being 10 a.m. So we did push back the pod to the correct normal time tonight. So it is 7 p.m. here. It's still very bright and sunny outside in Cannes. But we did kind of think okay, we should definitely have dinner before the pod. And I made a bad choice. I'm not going to lie. It was so good, but it was like a cheesy, heavy noodle. And like a glass of red wine, and now I'm just kind of like,
You had
I'm a little bit
the blue cheese gorgonzola sauce.
Oh,
ooh,
so good. But now
Rich.
my whole body feels like warm, and I'm kind of just like, I might fall asleep live on camera. But
don't people do that? I've seen people sleeping in beds in their pool. Who's the gentleman that does that?
Oh, Kai Sent, yes,
Right.
The most famous live Twitch streamer that there is.
Impressive.
We have some really cool stuff that we can talk about today, some news. But as always, we always start by talking about nouns. This entire podcast is possible and available to you guys because of Nouns and our sponsorship from them. Thank you, Nouns, so much. If you want to know more, go to nouns.wtf/vote/206. That was our specific proposal, Nouns on the Ground 2023. We get to go to over 18 events this year. We've added an event, and there could be other ones coming in. So about at least 18 events. And that's why you guys see us in different sets all the time around the world. And so it's going to be really hard. I won't lie, to leave where we currently are. It is just maybe my most favorite city I've ever been to. I don't know how you feel about that, Cheffo.
I'm right there with you on that one. I'll tell you.
Wish maybe after the traveling and stuff, maybe we'll have a flat out just studio here when we continue the live stream. If you are on chat right now, I can't for some reason, it's not resetting for me. Throw a GM in there, throw a wave. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if you can see that while I do this little fun thing right here when we talk about nouns. So this is our noun of the day. It's one NFT every single day that is auctioned off every 24 hours. And let me go right here. This is our little helicopter guy today.
That's a cool one.
I love him.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's cute. We got that 1.1 ETH bid on it right now. That will not stay that way. As we know from watching these auctions daily, they have been going for an average of about 27 to 30 ETH. But those bids kind of start coming in towards the end of this auction cycle. If you want to learn more about that and see the process of watching the winning bidder happen and then seeing which noun comes next, you got to tune into the Noun Square Twitter Spaces. They do them every single day at auction time. Looks like it's going to happen probably in about 6.5 hours from now. So if you're up and doing that, I hopefully I could stay up and join. We love the Noun Square. It's where I got like a huge boost in confidence from being able to do these daily Twitter spaces with them and hosting. So love the Nouns. It's a great place to kind of see that auction turnover happening. And then as soon as this auction turnover happens, let me go up here. All of the funds go into the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization that is Nouns. There is currently 51.8 million in the treasury right now. And if you are a builder, an artist, a dev, a programmer, a live streamer, a person that does events, you can have access to these funds by submitting a proposal. Right now, you do need to own 2 nouns to submit a proposal, but anyone that owns those 2 nouns can also sponsor other people. So I myself have not ever owned 2 nouns, and I've been able to get proposals up because I've been meeting people in the community, telling them my ideas, and people can like sort of get behind these these proposers that they believe in and sponsor their ideas. So if you don't have a noun, you should be kind of introducing yourself to the community and seeing if you could like meet someone with them.
There's also the delegation technology that's built in.
Yes.
And you can do that through Nouns Agora. And
Yes.
potentially, what's the best way to say it? Like secure delegation, I would say maybe, or lobby for delegation for yourself. So
Yes.
someone who may own one of these items or multiple,
Wait, that's
sometimes,
smart.
you know,
Okay.
it's the season of life, you know, and sometimes you're just a little too busy to keep up. And, you know, instead of it just sitting idle, it's good to have that available to an active member in the ecosystem to vote with. If you look at the Nouns Brazil prop right now, there's like not the highest voter turnout. And yeah, that's where delegation comes in. So it's a really useful tool.
I'm just pulling this tool up now for you guys to see.
Cheers,
Because you right
Aubtoshi.
now could cheers. I don't even have. Where's my glass of wine? Okay, wait.
I'll
so,
bring you one in a second. This is a delicious 2016 Bordeaux that I got at the convenience store for like $20. So
Okay,
I
great. Well,
mean,
hey,
I
then
don't know.
usually these episodes are sponsored
place is
by
amazing.
water. We still have different kinds.
We'll get there later, Aubtoshi.
We'll get there, but we are excited to just be having a nice glass of wine for this sort of evening pod, even though it is a GM morning show for the West Coast people. So I wouldn't advise drinking red wine this early on the West Coast, but let me just go back over here to Nouns Agora so I can kind of walk you guys through this. You can build a profile here that's nounsagora.com, NOUNSAGORA.com. Here we go. You can make a profile here. Let's see, let's just pull up someone's profile. These are like, you can see all of the actual voters and the holders and see which nouns they're voting with. Let's see. And let me get down to the bottom about people requesting to like.
Stylistically, this is one of my favorite nouns builds. Like,
We love it.
I really like the way it looks and feels.
So basically, I'm trying to go way to the bottom. There's so many different holders. This is also a really, really good place to come to see who holds nouns, because everybody who holds a noun gets to vote on these proposals. And so if you're interested in putting a prop in, or if you have someone you know that has a prop in, this is a huge part of the process, is knowing who can actually vote. So let's just say I'm going to pick on Chris Corella here. He's got 2 nouns. He hasn't delegated them to anyone. So we see that here, delegating to none. Basically, you could put your delegate statement. You say, like, what kind of builder are you? Like, what things do you like? What are props that you are into or not into? Top issues here lets you pick. It shows all of the past votes. Obviously, if you haven't ever voted before, that part would not be there for you. But the really cool part about this is you can make a profile, tweet it out, and maybe there's potentially a noun holder out there that is maybe too busy or doesn't vote as often as they wish that they could. And so maybe they would be seeking to delegate their votes to someone who wished to be a more active participant in the community. So it's a really great opportunity for people who want to really explore the governance side of nouns. We've had some deep dives on that before. Of course, we've gone over Prop House. You do not need a noun to propose in Prop House. But for me, the delegation is huge. I've had like a delegation at some point, or at one point, I mean, for a few months, and getting to really vote, read all these props, which are back here that are live, talking with the community, meeting the proposers and the other teammates on each prop, like it felt like I felt very included in the community when I was doing this. So if delegation is something you're interested in, or if you're a prop builder and you need delegation, nounsagora.com is a great place for you to start. We are looking live
That
right
was
now.
a great recommendation I had, right, Aubtoshi?
Great recommendation, of course. You always do. We like basically.
There's so many things to keep up with, but
Yeah.
no, that's a good one.
Well, and that's the thing too of like I'll just pull us back to the screen real quick. We have been involved with the nouns like and first met about them or learned about them, I'm sorry, last April, I want to say like the end of last April. It was the first ever round for the nouns prop house and we both submitted props. And so having been there now for a little bit more than a year, like we know a lot about these different projects that have come out of nouns and just naturally have met these different builders and proposers. We could talk about one of those today. He's actually here with a film from Prop 53. So all the way back to the very first like 50-ish props, which is crazy. We really get this opportunity by traveling around and going to these conferences to meet proposers. And so we know a lot that's going on. And if you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to reach out. You don't have the stream in front of you, do you?
I do not, Aubtoshi.
I was going to ask you to leave a comment to see because I don't see my boy Malcolm, but maybe it's because it's the time change. I was also interested to see like if that would affect certain people being able to tune in or not. But either way, it's fine. If you're on chat, you can let us know if that's working. Just drop a hi.
Let's see here. I'll do it from my phone.
Yeah, drop a GM, Cheffo. While you're doing that, I'm just going to pull up window capture again so I can show you guys the current props that are live. Again, I highly encourage you to go to nouns.wtf/vote. You have to check out these proposals, you guys. Like the fact that Nouns has this new age type of VC funding for people is just already incredible on its own. And you really should go look at the proposals if you're interested in something like that to see what people are doing. What do successful props that have passed in the past look like? What do props that are active right now look like? What do props that have been canceled look like? And what do the props that have been defeated look like? And the other, did you leave a comment?
I did.
Oh, yay. Okay, it's working. I'm just like.
I love the stream on the phone. It's also just awesome, dude. And if you turn it sideways like this, it's just like this really great.
Oh my gosh,
mobile
I love that
experience. Yeah, this is.
I know.
great.
I really love this stream, you guys. And we had someone here yesterday that was doing and had more interest in like the Twitch part and followed us on Twitch. Dude, I'm so excited to sort of build that up. But I'm so sorry. I'm like looking down.
You look
I'm
so big today. Now I see how big you are.
No, and bright. Like,
I love it.
am I okay?
Great. You look great.
I look like I've seen a ghost. Let me pull up really quick.
You're just a degen.
I'm going to pull up House of Nouns because this is another great resource. So we're looking at, let me see, click on nouns. Okay, House of Nouns.xyz, guys. Back to the window capture. Okay, voting. I'm going to click on voting after I go to the nouns area. This is where these props that you're seeing that are live, you can also see those in House of Nouns.xyz, but the bonus thing that you're going to get is the reasons people are voting. You can also see these reasons in the Nouns community Discord that has just been totally revamped. It's like a really cool place. Like there's community mods now and like, what do they call them? Like liaisons or representatives? There's reps for each community that are there. Like if you have a prop, you have a channel there. And there's like community liaison. And there's like a robot, Rocco, the AI robot that summarizes things that happen in the Discord, but he also like posts each reason. Because when you vote on a nouns prop, you get to vote yes, no, abstain, and if you choose, you could put a reason. And most holders really do like to take that time to put their reason so that, proposers have a better opportunity to understand what's working with their props or what's not working. So I don't know, why is it taking so damn, oh, here we go. Y'all, I do not know what's going on with my computer today. Let me proposal. Oh, here we go. Let's just. Okay, retain nouns for 6 months. This is a great one to bring up. So as this loads slowly, I'll just go back here. We know that as that page loads, you can actually see the reasons. And so that's another great resource. So you can also kind of like go on the nouns website, put your input in on yourself. Like read these props yourself. And then go to House of Nouns and see what other people are doing to discuss this. I believe that those reasons are also tweeted out. So there's a lot of resources basically for you to get into this governance side of nouns, which I do find really fascinating. It's like it is the backbone of what makes nouns work. It's like the community coming together to vote for these awesome proposals. So we love that. Oh, I'm like, that's grand. That's grand efforts. A doxed Cheffo right there. Okay.
That is me.
So love that. Let's go back now just really quickly. I know you can't see this screen, Cheffo, but I do want to just like see the props that are currently live. I think it's important, especially because the NFT Brazil taking over Sao Paulo and celebrating the Brazilian community. We have talked about their other prop that was up a few weeks ago on our stream. They canceled the prop and then re-put one up with some suggestions that people had. So like those places we had talked about, like House of Nouns, like people giving their reasons, it's really important to then if you're a proposer and you want to continue your prop to kind of like take that comment, those comments you get in the feedback, and you can reiterate your prop. So it's highly encouraged that if something doesn't pass the first time, keep on going. You guys hear me preach it all the time. I
Preach,
myself
Aubtoshi,
failed in
preach.
Prop House for like 3 times before I was even noticed. And, it just takes a little bit of time sometimes to like convey your ideas in a way that people who may not know you right away can kind of understand what you want to do, see if it fits in this realm of being nounish. And I really commend the NFT Brazil team for coming back and putting in another prop. This event is happening in like 1 week from today. We are going. I get to speak on stage. I'm super excited. Of course, I'm going to have like an entrepreneurship, like DAO centric talk. I always love talking to like actual builders with the hopes of bringing new proposers into the DAO. So we will be there talking about that. This ends in 15 hours. And last time I checked, let me see. Okay, we're close. It needs 107 votes at the threshold, and it needs to pass with the 4 votes. So let's say that's a minimum of 20 votes left to get it to that 107, and then 1 vote over. So 28 votes is what it needs. But there's like larger voting blocks that I think haven't voted yet. So if you haven't voted yet and you have a noun, please go in. There's only 15 hours left on this.
Yeah, it seems like some of those particular voting blocks are waiting as long as they possibly can.
Yep. And plus, as much as there's been like an extension on the amount of time you have to vote, when a proposal goes live, you have 5 days pre the voting, then you have 5 days voting, and then it can be queued afterwards. Like that was done intentionally because at first it used to be a much shorter time span and people were kind of like missing votes, or if you're traveling or had like a really heavy work week, you could very easily miss those votes. I was definitely guilty of that as a delegate. But this one's ready to go. Let's go, guys. 15 hours. I really believe in this team, and I've met a few of them in person. JP has also been creating content with nouns since I have known about nouns, so over a year. The Brazilian community themselves have been very nounish and have like this insanely great community that just has been proliferating the meme just in huge ways for the last year. So I would love to see them have this opportunity to get to do that more at this event. So that event is, and that prop is actually ending in 14 hours. These other ones, we got a couple days. Okay, so we got the Nouns Running Club, Fun Fitness and Friends. We got archives.wtf, extension review. What is that?
I voted yes for both of those.
Nice.
in the Nouncil. Okay,
let's go. There is a group of people called the Nouncil. It's Nounish Builders. They also get a vote. And they vote like in the community, their like own Discord, so the Nouncil Discord. And so a bunch of people actually have the votes of, I'm not quite sure how many nouns there is right now, 6 or 7 that they get to vote with. Let's see. Prop 298, introducing nouns computers. Ooh, 5 Oceans. That sounds like a 5 Oceans. That's another prop that was canceled and came back. I really commend you, 5 Oceans. And I saw your awesome photo this morning. As you guys know, we're at Con, and like right outside where all the boats are, there's these guys on the sailboats just like
terrifying,
climbing up to the very, very top of the pole of the sailboat and like making sure everything's fixed and stuff too. But
like really high.
It is so cool. I got this really epic photo of someone. You guys can see it on my Twitter. And then immediately Five Ocean says, "Oh, I have the same photo." And it's him up there, our epic resident sailor of nouns. He also is just flat out super freaking smart. And I love this computer nodes prop. Ethereum node prototype. This is sick.
It's cool.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to read through this. If you're a techie person, you could definitely like that. And then the last one that is currently been put on chain is Prop 299. Oh my God, I wonder who's gonna be Prop 300. Oh my God, that is such a moment. If you have an idea or if you have like your prop like ready and you've been trying to get it ready, like do not wait. Like you have to be Prop 300. That's gonna be amazing. Prop 299 is nouns display font. Ooh.
I think this is Crow.
Ooh, cool. We love Crow. I'm just going to watch this video really quick. There's a video here. Oh.
I'm watching it on my phone.
Nice.
If you read through it, I think this was like a project that Gremplin kind of started or something, but
Wow.
it's like a custom font
Love that.
for use across ecosystems. And
Oh, yes. And have it be called nouns.
yes,
I think so.
Nouns, something specific.
Yeah, display font. Okay, cool. Let
Yeah.
me see that. Let's see
Yeah.
what he calls it in here.
So that's interesting.
Wow. Okay, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. It is like a different type of version of Laundrina, it feels like, but it does feel very nounish.
It's an interesting look. I'm still sitting with whether I like the look of it or not, to be honest.
I like it. It feels like a little bit of a thinner Laundrina. I know that Laundrina is kind of like the font that nouns kind of use. It's right here. We see it in this DAO at the very top of the page. Right here too, also with proposals. It just looks like a little bit thinner Laundrina. I think it looks cool. I think that looks really cool.
The concept is spectacular, and it would be, a big deal to find our way into the history of fonts. There's like literally a history where you can track back the artist, the point in time, the platform that it came out on, and yeah, I mean, it's an amazing.
I see you out there, chat. I see you,
thing.
chat. I also hope the prop passes. Let's go, Brazil. I'm so proud of you guys.
Let's go.
For everything that you guys have done. I really just mean it. You guys, they've done like scavenger hunts and they
Well, I'll
were
tell you
doing
one
stuff
thing,
like on the
Aubtoshi.
ground.
Whether or not it passes,
Yep.
we're going down there.
Oh, we're going.
And
we're
we're going to
representing.
show how wonderful the Brazilian community is. We
I
will
can't wait.
have all the cameras, we will have all the podcast equipment, and we will give people the
Merch.
opportunity to express themselves. And
Yeah, I would love to get interviews also with our, friends down there who are builders within the ecosystem. Get that one-on-one. I almost wish that we had a few of those before this prop so people had a chance to meet people, but everybody has been doing a fine job on their own of getting content out there. Like literally shout out JP. He was the first person to make a nounish video on TikTok that went viral, like millions of views. And then the Noun Square used the same format, and then they got a few million views on their exact TikTok as well. And it was like back when you could be funded for your nouns tattoo, no matter what that tattoo was. And he did like a cool TikTok about all the different nouns tattoos that were coming around at the time. Just epic. And I feel like he doesn't get credit for that, but he was the first like very viral TikTok video for nouns. So congrats to you, JP.
he's got great views.
If you guys be like reaching down here, I have like a little bit of a smaller table in front of me than normal, so I have to like stretch to do the air horn and stuff. But we are here. I literally, honestly look like a ghost, Cheffo.
You look great.
I don't know how this is possible. I look like I'm just like staring into people's souls from
You look
this
great.
blown out light from above. Maybe I'm just like so excited. That's like the light exuberating off of me actually from this city that we're in. I really feel it. I finally feel like I caught my second wind. I'm out of this like cheesy noodle coma that I was like definitely slipping into.
Yeah, I was so hungry. I think I'm like ready for another bowl of pasta. I mean, I don't know. That stuff was so good. I couldn't stop eating it.
As you guys know, we also kind of like we'll focus on certain people on Thursdays. On Fridays, we like to highlight places, and we talk about all different types of things on Saturday, of course, because a noun is none other than a person, place, or thing. It is definitely the Tao. Like that's what I think of when I think of nouns now. But what I started to do when I first started working with nouns and founding Nouns OTG, which is now just, as you know, OTG.WTF, we were on the ground asking people what a noun is, because what is the best way to introduce someone to something? Like break it down to the simplest form of what they already know it to be. And so most people, when you ask them, know that a noun is a person, place, or thing. And since we are traveling and have this opportunity to go around and have our live stream set in all these different cities, it only makes sense to highlight people, places, and things along the way. So today, as you guys know, we are in Cannes. We talked a little bit about the film festival and a little bit about some events that we've already done here, like the Bitcoin Pizza Day. We talked about the Joker Club NFT Party, which is a French NFT collection, also associated with businesses that are here in the south of France and in Switzerland. We also have an opportunity in Cannes to, I believe on Sunday, we are so lucky. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but the Grand Prix is in Monaco this weekend. And Monaco is actually not too far from where we are right now. You can actually hop on the train and go there and do a day trip. And so I think we're going to bring Nouns, bring the Noggles to Monaco. I don't know if it's the first time Nouns has been to Monaco or the Grand Prix, but I would assume maybe. I think that that's really cool.
I would assume yes.
I would assume yes. And so the Nouns will officially be there. Cross your fingers. We'll make it happen. Our new friends are helping us make that happen here in the south of France. But I'm excited to hop on that train and bring Noggles to the Grand Prix for the first time. I couldn't imagine. It's just like the red ones so perfectly matched, like the Ferrari suit that one guy wears. I'm so bad that I don't know that guy's name. Wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. I got to look this up. He's like the most famous guy right now.
Look it up,
He's like
Aubtoshi.
everybody's favorite person right now.
And while you do that, we will have a little break from our unofficial sponsor, San Pellegrino. If you're ever just thirsty at the races in Monaco and you need something to brighten up that afternoon, just grab yourself a San Pellegrino, Aubtoshi. Listen here. That's the sound of refreshment.
I can't believe I can't find this right now. Oh.
This is not an ad,
duh.
but it certainly could be.
Okay.
See, we're really going for that water sponsor.
Charles Leclerc. Oh my God. If you don't know who that is, just do yourself a favor and Google this person.
I saw something. He was on my TikTok and he was like on a yacht.
Yeah, he's on TikTok right now and he's blowing up because all the ladies are like, oh my God, who is this?
Okay.
He's like, he is going to blow up and be amazing.
I don't think you should say he's going to blow up right before the race.
I'm sorry. Well, he's going to like gain popularity. I've like didn't know who this person was. And now I see like thirst traps about him on TikTok. No offense.
Here, I'm coming over.
He's just a generally, attractive person. I'm going to take you off the screen for just a second. Andrea's like, let's go. Charles Leclerc in that red Ferrari outfit. Oh my God. Imagine if he had red knuckles. That would be insane. I really appreciate you making me look a little bit more normal. Thank you so much. Maybe you could also do this. This would be good. Get a TikTok also if you aren't on TikTok yet. We do have to figure out the live streaming for the TikTok. At first, I had been doing that. Just had like our phone here, and I was getting like a BTS behind the scenes for people. But I have like been going on TikTok live trying to understand how to best do that. Because I do see other streamers on there. Oh, thank you to Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari driver of every woman's dream in Monaco right now. And every man's dream, probably. He is like the it person right now. So I think we got to go. We got to continue this awesome trip. We've had a lot more opportunities here than we first expected coming to the south of France, especially not knowing anybody. So it has been absolutely amazing. And I know that same type of energy is going to happen when we go to Brazil. And I'm just so freaking excited, you guys. I've been researching it, but since we are talking about like places today, I think it would be a good thing to kind of talk about Cannes a little bit and maybe a little bit of history. Cheffo, I know, like the other day said he was like kind of looking up like people that have been here. We obviously have shown a very large interest in like just loving it here. It's very like comfortable. People are nice. The food is healthy and clean. Like everything feels just like calm. I guess like what I would like want in a city. There's enough people where it's like busy enough for me. But but it's not overwhelming. You have your cute little grocery store. You have your, what's the bakery called?
Boulangerie.
Oh, boulangerie. Oh my God. You have your boulangerie on the corner with your coffee in the morning and your like amazing, delicious pastries. Like I gotta post photos and videos of this boulangerie, you guys. Like you would not believe the pastries that are there. But now that you're back, Cheffo, I would
am.
love to hear like what are some things that you learned about con? Because I know you were kind of like looking all of that stuff up.
You know, there's obviously like a lot of history in the short kind of modern history, I guess, of the last 100 years or so. This is the 76th Cannes Film Festival, I believe.
Yeah, that's crazy. The 76th festival. Like, can you imagine the movies that were at the first one? Like, we really should go back in time and sort of see if we can watch the winners over the years.
That would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I can remember as like a teenager, like watching TV and seeing it and all that. And I know that, you know, it's been this like glamorous moment for Hollywood and America who pays attention to Hollywood and Europe who pays attention to Hollywood.
Yeah, it's very Hollywood glamour here.
It
That is
is
a really good way to describe it.
It is. It is Hollywood glamour. We had a conversation last night with a gentleman about documentaries and how those typically play here, and it's not usually the
Or don't play.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of like dramas, classics, some large box office movies. But yeah, I mean,
I think in series too.
overall,
The one that Lily Rose Depp is in with Abel the Weekend, I believe is a series. And so I didn't know that. So I think series can be like submitted here as well or have their debut essentially.
it's very artistic in that sense. And yes, there's this draw for like A-list celebrities, B-list celebrities, that kind of thing. And people do like use it as a way to, you know, revamp their career that year or whatever it may be. But ultimately, I'm going to have to learn a lot more of the history.
Yep.
I've been also looking into
No, but
like,
who'd you say, like, who's a famous person that's been here? Who's from here?
pretty much every actor that you can think of. I mean, Picasso
That's what I was going to say. It starts with a P.
who I discovered had spent time and lived here earlier. And yeah, I believe it was 1953. And then moved to this smaller town, like right over the hill, which is now famous for like art and food. Yeah, I think that Cannes is incredible and
It's gorgeous.
gorgeous. But I also think that when people like end up living here, even it seems Picasso in the 50s, you know, there's this feeling of, you know, being able to retreat back a little bit and have some more peace and quiet. And for artists and creative people, that's usually super important. But again, you just get on your little Vespa and you're in Cannes in like 10 minutes. So it is amazing, but it's one of these places that I actually really do want to learn quite a bit more about.
Because there's castles everywhere as well.
Exactly. Geographically, it's wild. There's definitely World War II history here, being on the water and all of that. So, yep, there's always something to learn. But knowing that Picasso, like, quite honestly, literally walked on this same street, like,
Wow.
and you can kind of like see that, like, in his work. You can kind of see, like, some of his work has these, like, almost very like yes, he does these very every man, every woman type of things, but he also was fascinated by like society people, and you kind of see some of that in the facial structures and the shapes, and then you see some of those similar things like walking down the road here. It's extremely inspiring. From like a color palette standpoint, to be completely honest, like there are other places that have more of a vibrant like color palette, I would say. but like,
It feels like a vivid warm. Like you know that like there's that filter on your iPhone.
mm-hmm,
It's like a vivid warm feeling. Like there's
mm-hmm.
this like touch of this like warmness kind of to everything.
Well, if you look at the buildings, they're not actually white. They're like a cream.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the buildings are like have this cream. I'm like looking outside right now. I was also getting
Yeah.
distracted because like leave it to Con, but there's this like pigeon that has like totally fell in love with us and we named it George and it
Oh,
just
you
like
mean
flies by every day.
George is here?
He literally
I don't know what he's coming for.
George just tapped down and just looked inside just to say hi. The other day I was like, we have to like shut these doors so that George doesn't like come into the house. And like the moment I shut the door, like flew in. So like walking up to the door. So George is here. He's visiting.
What did we have?
Even the pigeon, George is a pigeon. Even he is like vivid warm. He's like a cream color. He's not like white.
The seagulls are the size of eagles. They're seagulls.
Yeah, seagulls.
Seagulls.
Seagulls the size of eagles.
They're massive. Then
they
we
eat well.
We were walking by
that's
this
for
one
sure.
house and we saw like a crow. And I was like, what the fuck? I haven't seen a crow here the whole time. And it was a fake crow to like keep the other birds away. But
which must be like really confusing. They're like, what is that one species of bird that I've never seen before? I think it's doing its job. Yeah, that vivid. You're so right about like this, like the color palette. It feels like you're in this like warm, like French.
Well, it's not quite as orange as Italy.
Sepia. It's like very sepia. You know,
it is, but it's not quite as like orange though as other places. Definitely not. Like and like even just think about like Coachella, you know, and Palm Valley, like way oranger.
Really, I thought that was more like
pinks and oranges and reds.
it's pinks.
But that's like a whole kind of shift in the palette. Whereas here it's like cool blues, cool greens.
Yeah,
like
warmer yellows.
Some warm yellows. It's a really interesting color palette. Yeah, it's gorgeous, but
yeah, you're so right about like there's not a lot of bright colors. Even the clothes, like people aren't walking around in like huge bright colors. Like if I'm wearing an NFT shirt out that has like a colorful graphic on it, like I'm the brightest person in the room. Like,
well, you definitely can. You see some brightness, and to be honest, like some of the stuff that we've seen like at the boutiques and stuff,
like the sundresses
this season are fairly bright, but nothing
There's
like
something nice about
nothing like when we were in Indianapolis and we like went to like go get. I had to get some like clothes, some T-shirts and stuff, and we went to the store and like I don't know, it was like noticeably different. Like you walked in, we went to a Macy's because it was at the mall, and dude, everything was like bright, like preppy,
like so bright
colors, super
like
just
not good bright,
contrasty, primary.
like
it was
saturated out.
It was crazy, and it just like
it's
truly
like,
hit me.
It's the vibrant. It's like the bright like. Highlighter magenta and highlighter green, like not a good green.
Yeah, you don't get
if you're into highlighter green, that's all good. No offense. But like, you know, when you're just like out there, like, I don't know if that's like the vibe I'm trying to give out to people, like magenta pant, highlighter green blouse or something. Maybe. I don't know. In other places where everything is really colorful, like that's so great. But I'm not saying like it's wrong, but I'm just saying you definitely don't see that here. People have like their creams and they're like, but it's definitely like a lot of like blues, like all different shades of like blue button ups and stuff. Like even like lighter pants, you know, even we saw someone last night walking around in a suit that was like this baby blue, just delicious looking suit. It was so freaking cool.
It was
like,
a nice suit.
People are so freaking dapper here. Like we are obviously like so underdressed and it's totally fine. We have like some outfits and like look totally okay, but people like really look just dressed to the tens. It is so cool to see. You cannot go down the street without seeing someone in like a beautiful gown and like heels and like their whole outfit just like must have taken them the whole day to get ready. They look gorgeous. Like there's this just beautiful people like everywhere. Like beautiful tall people. Like if you kind of just like ask the world, like define a beautiful person, like they're here. They're all here. I'm like looking at the tens right now of like where they all are. It is epic to see. And it's definitely like revived my sense of like wanting to style myself a little bit more. You know, I even have this.
If this
like,
place doesn't do it, nothing will, Aubtoshi.
Don't I look like a local here with my con hat? Hey guys.
Or a tourist.
Burn. Yeah, there's another hat that I wanted to wear. That's like one of those floppy sun hats, which I just like would never be
What did
caught
it
dead
say
in.
on it again?
I was gonna say it's like from a con hotel. I got this like this is in our
Pretty
Airbnb,
sure it
by the way.
said "Do not disturb"
It says "Do not disturb"
on the hat.
I nearly wore it outside because it's
Now-
from a hotel.
Now, in fairness, we did walk by the hat person today, and she's making these like cute, adorable
One hat person.
aprons and hats and things. But she had these chef hats, and I don't know. I might have to get a custom chef
Yeah.
French chef
And she
hat.
was like stitching in like names so you can have your custom cute little hat. You're only allowed to get it if you wear it tomorrow on the live stream.
Deal.
Okay, perfect. So tomorrow we do have the live stream at the same time. As always, on a Saturday. We love the Saturday streams. And then Sunday will be hopefully our day trip to Monaco for the Grand Prix. It feels so strange to me just to like be casually saying that. Like, oh, and then Sunday, our day trip to Monaco. Like that, you guys, this is so unreal. I am so grateful that Nouns gets to be a part of this and that I get to really sit on the ground at these things. I'm always constantly thinking of these different events that Nouns can just be present at. You know, as you go around the world, like there's a small but very present Web3 community in Cannes. That means there's probably people in Monaco that have a Web3 presence. Like I definitely want to wear like my Nouns hat or something there tomorrow. So like if people know, they know. But that's what I've definitely become a lot more fascinated in is where are these communities across the world? Because I know that they exist so clearly with the Nouns. You can see as these different communities like the Brazilian community coming up and really like showing up for Nouns. Like they're everywhere. Like there's people
Well-
around the world celebrating Web3.
I think that that's going to be a question that the Nouns will continue to, experiment with and ask
Mhm.
themselves. Like, for example, like, I don't know what it costs to sponsor a Formula One team. I'm not necessarily
That should happen.
suggesting
It'd be a
that,
massive sponsor, but no,
and
that,
it probably would be
Suggest
over
that.
$1 million or something.
I think suggests that. That is a huge
But
opportunity.
at the end of the day, like, the only one who can afford to buy the NFTs are affluent individuals. And so, I mean, being in front of people who like things that are a little branded, like things that have logos, like things that are hip, trendy, and cool, like things that can be shown off, like things that can be used to profess your knowledge onto the situation. I mean, I just think it's kind of a no-brainer.
yeah.
But I
mean, those
have
cars started-
no idea what that would
I think
cost.
that started like in the 80s too, where race cars started like following that sponsorship model and like wrapping their cars, and like one corporate company would come in and like an
It's-
insurance company would blow up because like they are
Car
sponsor
com-
a race car.
Car companies or race teams, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
redefined what it means to
100%.
brand the shell of the experience.
Well, and they show that presence is what matters. The same way that if you're at a sporting game and you see an ads just like going across the little ticker thing the whole time you're watching the game, like it's that. These things are like going around on these racetracks, but they're wrapped in the brand the whole time. Like it would be so
and
freaking
another
sick to have a Nouns
example,
one.
like I mean, you see hockey games, all the boards around the ring, they're
Mhm.
all branded. You literally go to a little league baseball game now, and
Mhm.
there's banners of sponsorship that people have bought for little league, middle school, high school, semi-pro, pro, every sport you can imagine. Like sponsorship can be purchased, and so
It's
I
always
think
been like
that-
that. Like at my school, I don't
Yeah.
know like about your high school and stuff too, but we would. I
my
was
high
on-
school did not do any of that.
I was on like cheer, and so like part of like the sponsorship model was like for the football games, people get these little football pamphlets and stuff, and like you go around town to all the mom and pop businesses, and they buy ads. Basically,
Yeah.
they can have a corner ad, they can have a whole page, they can have a full spread, and it could be like Ralph's. It could be your
Yeah.
local Ralph's, and
Yep.
it's just like come to Ralph's and shop groceries. Like, and it's on a spread that they're then like the money goes to the school and to the football team. So that sponsorship model like has always worked, and worked in the sense of like people will always purchase those because it makes sense. People are actually walking home with something like it, and like if you're at the Grand Prix taking photos of Charles Leclerc before he becomes too famous and you can't ever get close to him again. You will be getting him in full blown Ferrari gear. Like he is branded. Like he is Ferrari right now. He's like their star child. And so it obviously works. And it's almost like Nouns could even partially sponsor by like making those cool jumpsuits. Oh my God.
Well,
Oh my God. Why doesn't Nouns have a jumpsuit?
So first of all, those are fire retardant, like very specific
I know,
suits.
but like you know what I'm talking about. Like there's
I know
like,
exactly what you're
it's like
talking
the same
about.
materials as like overalls, but like it's the full jumpsuits. Like in downtown LA, like everyone was wearing these things.
Well, like I said, I mean, in this particular case, like there would likely be a group of people that would consider that frivolous or pretentious or something, or maybe not as like useful as investing into more of a ground up kind of builder. And I totally understand what that thought process would be. But I do also see things from like an advertising marketing standpoint. And so I do think that the DAO is going to have to grapple with this. And maybe we're still waiting for that person to come join the DAO who's like some like marketing sponsor ad guru guy. I don't know. Or gal.
Could be, but also like it's CC0. Like I could go make a jumpsuit
Totally.
Tomorrow.
Right. But
that had knuckles on it.
Right. But if you want to get sponsorship, then you need funding.
Yes, of course. Like, of course. We're talking about the Grand Prix in Monaco. Like, of course, that's going to cost a little bit more.
You're cute and everything, Aubtoshi, but...
No, I'm going to say, of course, that costs more. Don't belittle me, Cheffo.
Oh, no.
I'm not, like, dumb to the fact that huge sponsorships like that are huge. Like, the NASCAR sponsors, like, it's a whole year. Like, that's why they'll have, like, single sponsors with, like, a contract. And those do cost money.
And the truth is that, like, let's say a driver does something bad or whatever. People pull their sponsorships. And so then pretty much Nouns would be having to like monitor their sponsorships. And then
or whoever the proposer is.
How does this work as far as like if we're sending funds via a blockchain, maybe you have to like do something like a Nouns stream where it's like, okay, we'll sponsor your race car team $100,000 a month, but if you make a mistake or if you start not being a good team, then we cancel our sponsorship or something. But yeah, you would just pretty much immediately start to get into these nuanced kind of deal-making situations. And I think for some people that would be hard.
That's why maybe it would be cool to like going as far as like maybe sponsoring a specific racer. I mean, it's not that crazy. This is what NARS does.
It's
like
not
they sponsor
crazy.
athletes. Like
Correct.
NARS could actually like sponsor a race car driver. Like that would probably be like the more on brand kind of thing at this moment because they already sponsor pro athletes in all these different fields. Like it would make sense to have like a race car driver have even a noggle just on their helmet. Like we don't have to wrap an entire car yet. Like obviously like that is a dream. And I know that someone has brought that up before. It was a different type of racing. I want to say it was more of like a derby style of like racing, you know, where they could also like crash into each other and stuff. On purpose, which is just crazy. And anyone who does that is
Have you
like
ever seen one
a
in
wild
person?
animal. No, I've never seen that.
I've seen it one time. It's wild.
Yeah, and they like purposely are trying to crash, right?
Yeah, it's hardcore.
That is hardcore.
Things like blow up and catch on fire.
Dude, one of my favorite Joe Rogan podcast episodes is of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And for those of you guys who don't know, that is the son of Earnhardt. I know way too much about NASCAR. My grandma like was obsessed with it, and like Dale Earnhardt was like the number 3 car. Like this was like the golden era of NASCAR. Like you had Dale Earnhardt with his, oh my God, why am I freaking blanking on the name of his sponsor? It was like the black and white car with the 3, but his son had like Budweiser. So he was like a driver for Budweiser. It was when Jeff Gordon was there with DuPont, number 24. And I had like a Jeff Gordon, like DuPont jacket, like as a child. I was like walking around with a DuPont.
As a California girl, I could see you being into Jeff Gordon. As someone from the East Coast, Jeff Gordon was considered like the biggest dork NASCAR racing had ever seen. And he kept winning. And so what are you gonna do?
Hey.
What are you gonna do?
Dude, champions are champions.
What are you gonna do?
Best kind of champion, a dorky one. Are you kidding me? Like who wants like an ego-driven champion?
It's
But
NASCAR.
the really cool part about like NASCAR too was that you had these like drivers that did have these personalities at the time. I swear I'm getting to my point. So Dale Earnhardt had his son, Junior, and then who ended up becoming just a champion in his own right, but it took a really long time. It's not like the dad just kind of accepted him. It was actually other people in NASCAR that were kind of like, hey, like your son's a good driver. And he would kind of just be like, And like, until he like won his first race or something, he finally like let him even come over to the circle where they were all talking. And this episode on Joe Rogan, which Dale Earnhardt Jr. is like just such a good episode because he really goes into like these feelings of making it, entrepreneurship, what it means like to be in the same industry where your dad is like the leader of the industry. Like, how do you make your own way? But he tells this really great story about being a teenager and crashing his truck and totaling his truck and kind of having to like come home. Like, he's super sad. Like, how is he ever going to tell his dad about this truck? So he comes home and kind of like looks at his dad. He like shows his dad the truck outside, and the dad kind of just like smiles and gives him a pat on the back, like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like, obviously, if he's in his teens and is kind of like swerving around and like already racing with cars, like maybe there's a future. Like, he kind of didn't see it as a bad thing. He saw it as like maybe his like hidden talents coming through, which we know ended up happening. And it's a really kind of sad, a very touching story because
Are you saying you want to become a race car driver?
no. But I did look up to very much so like Danica Patrick when she was like this leading female race car driver. It's really cool to see like women becoming these drivers. I don't think I could do that at all. But Earnhardt had like a very tragic death on the raceway during a race that was like televised, and like the whole world saw this happen. The whole world saw like the moment impact. The whole world saw the car flip, and then the whole world saw him like knock it out of the car. And so it was like a huge moment for NASCAR in general. But, Earnhardt Jr. talking about his whole like journey to kind of being like not the best NASCAR driver, but his journey to being accepted by his dad. Like, that's what his journey was. It's insane. So it's almost like in his final months of his life, Earnhardt, like that's when he finally started accepting him and bringing him in and bringing him up, and he's winning races, or junior, like this is his boy. And it like he only got that experience of that approval and recognition from his father in the final months of his life. And so then he had to like heal from, I'm like literally getting emotional right now. You guys have to go listen to this podcast. It is so good. He also like talks about these stories because what's not talked about in NASCAR a lot, and I'm sure same thing with the Grand Prix, any type of race car driver, is this thing that's also kind of happening in NFL, which is these traumatic brain injuries that happen and then sort of show themselves after these players retire a little bit more. There's a lot of traumatic brain injuries that happen in race car driving, NASCAR. Earnhardt Jr. at one point like couldn't even stand, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything without getting dizzy, and he had to like retrain his brain and do a lot of therapy to come back to the point of like feeling like a normal person. And he says this is very common with race car drivers. Like, imagine crashing once. Imagine like you can be in like at a stoplight and someone rear ends you and you get whiplash and it like affects you for the rest of your life. Like, imagine being a race car driver that's like bopping around. So that's why I think when we were talking about like the Derby thing, like that just really is crazy to me. You're like, you're like purposely kind of throwing yourself in a situation where you're inviting a lot of brain trauma potential to happen.
We shouldn't sponsor that one.
Well, it's not about that, but or like there could be like
maybe it is about that.
Well, what if but what about this? Think about this. So what if there are better helmets being made? Like, there's people that are doing their part to sort of like do stuff like that. Like, what if like the Nouns was part of that? Like the helmet that like saved you, like, or gave you a better chance, like 85% better chance to like protect your head during I don't know. I'm just like throwing it out there. Again, I'm not an expert. I sound like a NASCAR expert right now. I've not been following NASCAR since that whole like era of drivers. It just like was the thing that I did with my grandma. Like, we go to their house, like we're not doing it, she's like watching NASCAR, like that sound of the NASCAR cars just like while I'm just like in the other room, like, oh my god, I'm so bored, like what are we doing? Like, I can hear that sound right now. And I've actually been to a race. It's really cool, but I have not been to a race since that point in time. I'm really excited if we get the potential to go to the Grand Prix and bring Nouns there. But Cheffo, like we kind of always talk about this idea of like making it. We're obviously here at an event at con. We're watching people like right before this. I was watching who was just kind of joining the red carpet today. Like, we're within hundreds of feet of people who have essentially like in their own right, like made it. Like,
Oh, a lot of these people
mhm,
are either starting like a very uh, great career ahead of them,
mhm,
or they're at like the pinnacle of their career,
mhm,
or they're here to support someone that is in a position like that. Like, think about all
mhm.
the people that are here to support someone that get to put on the fancy
Oh my
clothes, go
gosh.
in, do the thing,
Mhm,
meet the celebrities and all that, and
mhm.
like they're just here as like support, and that's also amazing, and speaks to the humanity of it all. Like no one is
Yeah.
uh like functioning on these like high levels by themselves. It just
Mhm.
doesn't happen. Like
Takes a squad.
I don't know one person that literally functions on a super high level that does it all by themselves. I mean, I'm sure there's probably one, but I don't know.
Well, and that's why I like specifically I feel very like attracted to stories or podcasts where people are kind of giving their experience of
Hmm.
what it meant to make it. And like, yeah, that my biggest takeaway from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s interview. And then Joe Rogan did such a good job, like, of really letting him tell his story. He would go into these like moments where, as an interviewer, you have to kind of feel out the person that you're with because there would be these sort of moments of silence, but you could tell. And if you watch the video, like Earnhardt's kind of like having these like memories. And so like he'll be talking and then kind of stop. And then like he'll remember something. And then he'll go into like a pretty like long story about this one instance that means so much to him. But Joe Rogan like lets that silence happen, you know? Like he really is such a good interviewer in that way where he really like Earnhardt was able to open up in this interview because of what a great interviewer Joe was. And then he also always talks about on his podcast, like anything to do with the brain. So he's fascinated by all that stuff as well. But I love hearing people's stories about making it, um, what it takes, how they started, where they are now. I mean, what it takes. Are you kidding me? He literally had to like heal his own brain. Like, that's fascinating. And I feel like the more stories you could take in like that, the more you could say, like, okay, well, if that person over there could do that miraculous thing, like, I think that I can do miraculous things as well. And so I'm always like on the hunt for those kind of, I don't know, like real human ways that people have like pushed through in their lives.
Hmm. And a lot of times that is captured in film and video, and then
Mm-hmm.
celebrated with an award, and I think that that's what we see a lot of. And
Well, that's why podcasts are so important in streams because, like, I wouldn't have heard that story if I didn't hear it on a podcast.
mm,
It podcasts and streams like these, and we've talked about we are really excited to start implementing guests on here and start interviewing people and getting to hear from different people in the community, both in NFTs and crypto, and not to hear what they have to say because, like, without that podcast, like, no one would know those stories, and so. And I feel like even without our live stream right now, like you guys maybe not might not necessarily like know us as well. I feel like we've really kind of opened up not only to you guys and anyone watching the stream, either now live with us or later. We've kind of like opened up just like personally. Like I definitely feel like it's helped us like kind of as we're talking about these things, like form new ideas and like really hammer down the things that are important to us and the things that we want to represent that are good in the world.
yeah, definitely. And there's no getting around getting to know people sometimes, and I've never been afraid of letting people get to know me, right? And so why would like Web3, be any different?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially when we have these tools and these communication platforms and all these examples of stuff, it just becomes like a big part of who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
nouns is one of these environments where, not only do you have nouns, food nouns, little nouns, NARS, international nouns, public nouns. Golly gee, I need to have like a list that I can just rip real quick with all of them. But
We should do that tomorrow.
okay,
Maybe we'll get the community list down. We'll go on Noun Center and we should really like
we could
go
have a
through each of
contest
the
to see who
lists.
can read it the fastest. Busta Rhymes would obviously win because he is a machine. It
It's
was
good.
crazy. He was like, I
It's
couldn't. It was
insane that he can do
amazing,
that.
dude. And he's like 60. It's crazy.
How can anyone do that?
I don't know as well.
I feel like I'm not. Yeah, like I just could think that fast, probably, but not
I
like
cannot even
getting it
think,
out of my
no.
like mouth in a way that makes sense. No.
Yeah, so we'll have to do that. We'll have to do the list, but you know, there is this entire ecosystem growing every day, changing every day, maturing every day, getting better every day, learning every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and within that, you will also experience that as a human,
Mm-hmm.
and it, as much as you're willing to share that with the group, is pretty much like on an individual basis. But you know, we are out here and, you know, sharing our lives, and I think that's wonderful. I think, you know, in reality, the documentary will give people like a much more intimate look at that.
Yep.
I don't think that we like, I'm not going all the way as far as like personal,
Yeah.
crazy, like,
Exactly. You don't need to.
you know, I'm not obviously going to show myself how difficult I am every day. But no, we can
You're not that difficult.
we can really get like the documentary for our particular project gives it like about as intimate of a look as we can give that, and it's always interesting when projects, you know, play around with that. And so hopefully we see more of that, and I'm sure we'll see all sorts of other projects that aren't designed to do that. And so
Well,
you know,
and
it's
it's
a choice that we
interesting.
made in the beginning, and I feel proud of us for sticking to that.
Same. And I also think like an important thing to talk about as we're talking about all these things and like making it now, I feel like all inspired. It's the
Good.
first time we have wine, like one time we have wine on the show, and I'm like preaching, like let's go.
Oh no!
But what's really important to me
Wine
is
Toshi, where's Wine Bodie?
I know
Get that son of a
we
gun.
miss
on
our
here.
friend Wine Buddy. So me and Cheffo are a couple. We are a Web3 couple, and everyone who's known us before or has met us in person, like knows this. Our friends online know this. There's probably still people like that definitely in the community even don't quite know it. But even when we're out, like even here in con, like we'd be out like at the events together, and people are like, "Are you guys together?" It's like, yes, we're together. Like we do everything together.
Well, and then most of the usual reaction is, "I knew it."
Yeah, exactly. Like we thought, but we weren't sure
We're
because,
like,
because it is a
we're not
unique
hiding it."
experience that people, especially in Web3, would either A, be together or B, like doing the same things. One time I went in a Twitter space. It was like a women's like dating advice Twitter space. This was a long time ago, but I like walked in and like the lady's advice was, don't date anyone that's in Web3 if you want to be in Web3. And I just like immediately left because
Wasn't
it's like,
that a song? Wow, we need to. Can we play that banger? The dude. What was his response song? It was so good. You remember?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The gal made a rap about crypto boyfriends.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other guy,
Crypto Boy.
Crypto Boy, came back and pretty much dunked on her.
Okay. Yes.
DYOR, folks. It's good stuff out there.
Yeah. Just get a TikTok and you'll know everything that we're talking about. Like, but the whole point being like actually having someone that is a partner that is interested in the same stuff as you, that's in the same world as you. Like you guys, two people are better than one. Okay. Like I'm not saying if you're single right now or anything that's terrible. Like keep going for it. It's fine. But like, I'm just saying if you are searching for a partner, and you don't quite know where to look, like,
Are you saying
look
come
where
to
you are.
Come to nouns?
Look where you are. Someone like did a design the other day. Oh,
Sing-
Xerox designer.
single nouns.
Xerox designer had like a design he did. It was like you swiped on people on the nouns community, which I thought was hilarious.
What if there was a DAO and it was like single nouns, and every token it was like a token for like a speed dating or something, and then like once you like were in a relationship or you know whatever, then you would like you would like give your token to some other single person. You know, who knows, man? I'm just playing
That's
around, but like you could tokenize.
I don't know if I would want like my trial and errors to be on the blockchain of like people and like trying to date people. It's cool because like we're a success story, I feel like, and so it's like great, but it's like I don't know if I would want like every single one of my like dating experiences.
Maybe not like your dates. That's actually really fascinating, crazy idea. But like even just like your
that would be so bad. Like imagine like someone had
like
like tons of dates all the time, like it was just on the blockchain. Like they've had 30 unsuccessful dates.
oh god.
It's hard out there, guys. It's hard out there. I feel like that's why it's don't listen to weird bad advice of people telling you like not to look in specific places for somebody. Like
Bad advice.
that is such bad advice. Like actually, wouldn't you like naturally
Don't go
find someone?
date someone who does the same thing that you like.
Yeah, not good advice,
Like,
guys.
whoever came up with that advice? That's literally very outdated, arcane. That's kind of like the mentality of like,
Yeah, 1950s wartime.
right? Like the guy goes off
Yeah.
to work, the lady stays home, and
Strange.
it's just like everyone doesn't see each other all day long. Like those days have passed, folks.
Well, and especially in this world that we're in, like Web3 and crypto, NFTs, DAOs, like there's a lot of new language that isn't quite often used in other places. Like there's a lot of like nuances and events and things that happened like just in this industry, and having someone who understands that as well, like is probably going to be beneficial to you if you are looking to sort of build in this space. That's what I think. That's been our experience so far. But yeah, like that's part of like our like, journey of like, our, wanting to make it or be something like, we get to experience that together, and it's really cool. I've never really had that experience with anybody before. And the fact that we could do like our podcast together, we do like traveling together, we do that so well. I like really imagine right now, like if you're watching the stream, like imagine someone like traveling around with them probably on over 45 to 50 flights in 9 months. Like, could you do it? Like, I think that if you're dating a person, you should ask yourself, like, would I get on an airplane in a bunch of different airports with this person 50 different times this year? And if your answer isn't immediately like, well, I would try it, like, get out. Like, it's probably not going to work out. Like, who was it? I want to say it's Tom Hanks that said it. Like, if you want to know a person, and if you're dating someone and you want to know if you should stay with them, like go traveling with them. Like it couldn't be more true, that statement, because there's so many things you experience. Like you guys are seeing the really fun photos I'm posting and the really beautiful like nouns activations and us being nounish and interviews in the streets, but you guys are like missing everything in between, like the layovers, like lost items, organizing all of it. You guys, there's so much that goes into the organization of each of these things, each of these events, each of these live streams. Like having a partner there to assist with all of that in a good way is why, honestly, this is all possible. And so thank you, Cheffo,
Yeah, no
for
problem.
being that amazing partner. And I just think it's a cool thing to touch on, especially now that I'm thinking about like, Earnhardt's story is like he wanted to be seen and heard like by his father and stuff too. I think like we obviously like want to be seen and heard in this industry, and it really is cool to have a partner kind of along the ride and journey with you while you're doing that.
Yes, definitely. And I think that for our project, we're doing a documentary, and so that also is a unique perspective where
Yeah, and it highlights we each have our own specific skills still. So that's what's crazy. Like as much as we're involved in all these things together, like we each have our piece of it that we're doing. Like you're filming it, like you know how to do that. Like I'm learning how to kind of do that from you. Like other things that I'm doing, or like going out there and like hosting stuff. Like we're like learning from each other these different things, which is also really cool. So it's not like we like have the exact same hobbies and stuff too. We also like different things, but having that base of this kind of project that we get to work on together is like so cool. It just feels like such a unique opportunity. I feel like a lot of times in my dating life, I've had to like not hide, but like I couldn't really like be as excited about like the things I was excited about. Cause I definitely have like taken a back seat to like other people's things and have like trying to be, like, I don't know. I am much more of like a slower person when it comes to like projecting myself out. And like, I know that you guys wouldn't believe that now as we're doing like these live streams 3 times a week, but if I have like an idea or something, it takes a little time for me. I like to be patient and watch it. So like if in that time, like someone I'm with is like excelling and doing their own thing, I'm probably just going to end up being like a really great supporter of that person. And so just naturally you can get kind of stuck in that where you're just like supporting. And then all of a sudden, like all this time goes by and like you don't feel supported, but like, everyone's supporting each other, but it still feels off and it doesn't feel very equal in that way. This feels like equal in a very crazy way. And so
Good.
that also feels new and like
Good.
sounds surprised.
Not surprised, Aubtoshi. I not surprised at all. I put in my time. I put in my hard work, but yeah, of course, like
It's unique. I have not met another Web3 couple out there at all of these events that we've been through. I have not met them. I've met a couple. But they weren't doing like projects together. They were enjoying Web3 together. They got into like, they were at VCon together because like they both have the VCon NFTs and they love it. But that's like, they're not like starting projects and doing crazy stuff. Like,
Well, okay, so I have Dot Nouns and Vika, and we need to check with
Yes.
she might have had her baby.
okay, that is a power couple. Actually, I take it back. That's
So-
another nounish power
So
couple.
they're great, and they have both individual projects, and I'm sure they also help each other with their projects.
Okay, they're great. You're so right.
So I thought of one.
Okay, you thought of one. I know. I'm trying to think of another one. No offense if I forget you. I'm so sorry. But like certain people, like couples and stuff definitely stand out. And most of the time we're meeting up with like friends and stuff and like their husbands or their wives or their girlfriends or boyfriends or anything like are at home or not at the event or something like, which is also totally fine. And like those everything is fine. A relationship is
Everything
good.
is fine.
I like always hate like when it feels like I'm saying like something
You're
should
allowed
be
to talk
better
about yourself and what you
over
like.
something
you know
else.
what I mean? Like you're allowed to do that. You're definitely allowed to do that.
Of course, but
Aubtoshi.
I'm definitely aware that like one thing that works for somebody is not the thing that's going to work
Yes,
for somebody else. So
that's-
everyone's relationships are different.
Yeah.
But
I wonder
this
what
one is really-
Picasso's relationship was. I was gonna look that up. I wanted to.
well, didn't he?
I'll find out here.
He cut off his ear.
No,
Oh, that's Van Gogh.
correct.
Oh my god. This whole morning I was like visualizing Picasso cutting his ear off somewhere on like the con walkway. That was Van Gogh. Okay, never mind. It's fine.
That is, yep.
Yeah, I don't know really about Picasso's love life. I love hearing about these things.
Hmm.
Because most times from like these people in history too, like we get that information from like their letters that they used to write to their lovers who were in different countries and stuff. I don't know how you could ever maintain a long distance relationship in another country by letter. That would have been wild. It's so possible now. Like you basically like look at us. We're streaming to you guys on all these different platforms. Like you can just hop on a video call with anyone at any time.
Wow. So Picasso had a villa here,
Mm-hmm.
and they sold it in 2015
Oh damn.
for £100 million or euros. Sorry. I guess it was euros at the time.
Where is that? That is crazy.
I would guess it's up on the hill.
I'm guessing it like went for that much because it was Picasso's house.
Yeah, probably double what it was worth.
Well, duh. Like if you're a painter, imagine going in there, you like suck up all the amazing like artistic energy that happened and like feel through him. That is insane.
Yeah, his granddaughter inherited it when she was 22.
Wow.
Hmm.
I love that. Nothing about his love life.
No, I haven't found that yet.
I mean,
Fascinating.
fascinating. You do see people too, like here for con. I've seen people like there's probably like relationships of like producers or directors like with people who are like also in the movie. I think that that's fascinating. You also see
Oh,
people
wow,
who bring their
gorgeous.
wives and husbands who have been there with them for decades.
This is a work called The Bay of Khan from 1955.
Hmm.
It's stunning. Oh,
Bay
man.
of Con. Here, I'll pull it up here so I
Yeah.
can show everybody.
The Bay of Khan, 1955. Wow. He's so just on another level.
Oh, with the blues?
Hmm.
Interesting. Can't really.
So his second wife was Jacqueline Roque, and they were here. This picture's from 1956. They were in Cannes. He was definitely way older than her.
I don't know why I can't pull this up, but it does look really gorgeous. Wow.
Hmm.
I also wonder too if there's certain maybe industries or places where dating someone who's doing the same thing is like easier, and then certain industries where it's just like not.
Probably so. I think things that are digital are probably easier.
Mm-hmm. I was even thinking like music would be cool if like both people were into music because you could be like making music all the time together or like riffing off of each other and stuff. That would be a great one. Acting, I feel like would be hard. Acting, if you like are both actors, like maybe that would be a little bit difficult. Like very competitive. What if like one person got an agent? Like does the other person get an agent? Like both are trying to like make it so hard that it's like I feel like that could be a deal breaker. That could be pretty hard to do.
Hmm.
Also like doctors, you know, if both people are doctors, like you're probably never seeing each other. Or does it work because you're both at the hospital finally? Like just dating a doctor when you're not a doctor, that's when it fails because you just never see this person. I don't know.
I don't know.
I never
Tisha.
watched Grey's Anatomy.
I'm not gonna go there.
I never watched Grey's Anatomy, but I do know that a lot of them were all hooking up with each other. So maybe my theory is wrong there.
So, 2 wives and quote 6 mention-worthy mistresses and
Ooh.
countless lovers.
Mention worthy. Imagine being a mistress that isn't mention worthy.
That's yep.
I would be so offended if my name wasn't on that list and I was a Picasso mistress.
I'm just saying he had quite a spicy
Mention worthy mistress.
This is a great article. Spicy.
I feel like that sounds like a clothing line, a restaurant, a boat. I don't know. The mention worthy mistress. Gotta write that down. If you get it to me faster, guys, you can take it. But there's something there. The mention worthy mistress. Ooh. It's like the Marilyn Monroes of the world.
Well, he was doing his French thing. For sure.
Well, it's gorgeous. Obviously, you know, behind you, we can kind of see the mountains in the back. Like, it's just freaking gorgeous here, guys. Like, I'll try to post some, like, more videos and photos of it. Like, here especially in, like, these new countries that I've gone to, and it's, like, my first time being in them. Like, I like to also post things that not necessarily have, like, just noun stuff only in them. I want you guys to, like, kind of see, like, what it looks like around here. Because I have not really had the chance to do that. And I am kind of seeing it all for the first time. It is interesting because as much as we have our events that we go to with these activations and have the live stream here with you guys, there is definitely, it's a noticeable different type of thing that's kind of being captured through the documentary because it is sort of these intimate moments where kind of, if it's someone's first time like crossing the street in this one place, like what does that look like on camera? Like what does that feel like? Like I feel like more times than not, I'm like very nervous like when the camera comes out because I'm just like, oh, if like the camera's out there like in public and like Cheffo's filming me and stuff, it's like, what do I do? Like, do I look ridiculous? But then also like not caring is like, I understand like very important. But it's what I'm trying to say is like the documentary is like capturing like these kind of first time moments in different ways than we are showing currently on social media and stuff. So we're excited to start building that.
I'm not trying to cause anxiety, Aubtoshi. I'm just trying to make a movie.
I know you're not trying to cause anxiety. And I use like the word anxiety like way too frivolously. Like I don't mean I'm having like, I need to sit down, I'm having a panic attack anxiety. I think that's just like a word that I say of like anytime I have a thought that's like not just me feeling like free, like to go out and do stuff in the world. Like even right now, I'm like seeing these guys on the boat right now. They're like looking up here because we have all of these lights on and the camera. Yesterday we were like doing the day stream and so you can't really see in. It's like a mirror, but right now it's like dark outside and I know people can see it. I'm dying. But
we're
I
literally
shouldn't care.
at con.
I literally shouldn't care.
Don't know why you care.
We're literally at con.
Can't figure
it's fine.
it out. Take a deep breath. You'll be fine.
I feel like the solution isn't to like stop caring. It's just to accept that I care. You know? I feel like I was asked that a lot. Like that was one of the questions I was asked for the Nouns documentary that's coming out. Prop 74, Stupid Buddy Studios. They're the guys that we worked with for the Rose Parade. So they're doing a documentary as well. They are highlighting specific like characters within it. Because I helped a lot with like the parade, have like kind of become one of the characters that's being talked about in it. And so I've done multiple interviews with them up until this point. But yeah, that would seem to be a question that they asked like a couple times. Like, do you find, and I think it's because I was going through the proposal process, and naturally during the proposal process, people give opinions about whether they approve of your prop or like it, or if they don't. And there was some, at the time, just a couple, but like more like harsher sort of, I feel like, critiques and stuff. And so like one of the questions I was asked often during these interviews for the doc was like, well, do you like basically like, do you care too much about what people think, or like what's going on? Like, do you think you're affected by what people think? Like, do this, like all around that sort of idea of like, how do you react when people think about you or like have something to say? And such like the cliche answer, and I'm sure the answer that I gave was just like, yeah, well, I probably am affected too much and I should work on that. But I think about that a lot. And I think about that question too, because it's like, how do you work on that? How do you just like, it's not like, I get the whole idea of just being like, oh, just don't care. Don't give a fuck. Like, who cares? And it's like, okay, but the part of me that cares is like some type of emotion or like vibe that I'm having with myself. Like it's a piece of me getting touched by something. Like I'm affected by a thing. And I get that the not caring part takes the like extreme focus off of that. You shouldn't like be only focused on that too. But I don't necessarily think that like caring about things is bad.
I mean, that's I mean, of course it's not bad.
Yeah.
The point is that it's all relative and it's all in perspective and it's all in context. And, that's the case with everything in life. You have to weigh things, and you have to weigh people's opinions about things in when you're looking at stuff. And so, we do that in the DAO for props and, on a kind of like daily basis as far as that goes. But when it is time for people to put in their own props, it does take it to another level. There is obviously an extremely personal part of it attached to a prop for the builder.
Yes, it is very personal.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing too, right? So like, I feel like the better answer would be just, I guess, having enough experience in your life to like not say like, oh, I don't care, or like I don't give a fuck, but like enough experience to be like, yeah, that kind of affects me in these ways, but these are some tricks and tips that I've learned myself to make it so that like that's not my main focus and I'm not just focused on that, and how I'm now like receiving information in a way that like helps me, like how I can better like respond, right? So maybe like the less emotions doesn't mean like shutting off your emotions, but it means like less emotional of a response and more of like just accepting like people are going to have varying different opinions all over the world. No one thinks the same. People like certain things or don't like certain things, and people like certain people and don't like certain people for all different reasons that like you just do not have enough time to try to like think of these reasons and then think of how you're going to solve that. You're probably not going to solve that. But what you could solve-ish or work on in your own personal life is like how you choose to kind of like respond to those things. Because for me, like the I don't give a fuck thing, like just I don't care and I don't want to care, like that doesn't that kind of like shuts you down from like an opportunity to grow, Because like that, like I feel like the like I don't give a fuck sort of like mentality is just like, oh, if a person's saying something over here, I'm just gonna like shut them out, just like pretend that they don't exist, and like I'm just gonna shift my attention this way. Where it's like, well, what if there's like a thing there? Like, what are you shutting yourself down now from opportunities because you don't necessarily know how to react in the moment, So maybe it's more of about like how you're receiving it. I don't know. As I'm like saying that, like I'm just kind of like thinking about what it means, but I do feel like I definitely in those docs questions and interviews gave like the cliche answer, because I'm like, I don't know. It's such a deep question. It's such a more of a deep question than just like a 30-second like media spot answer that you can give, There's a lot to think about because we all are surrounded by people and their opinions and their likes and dislikes all the time, just the way that we are contributing to being a random person surrounding other people with our own opinions about what we like and dislike all the time too. So it's a constant battle, not a battle. It's like a constant like learning experience and learning curve with how to do that. But this is all very relevant and important because if we're going to be gathering in this Web3 space and preaching community and trying to do and inspire and teach community building to other people, like this is a major, major part of it. Tons of different people, tons of different opinions, people liking shit and people like not liking stuff. It is like the core of how these communities are either thriving or struggling a little bit, because it's like, how are the community members talking to each other? How are they interacting with each other? How are they receiving each other? And then how are they responding? Like, I definitely look for that in a community aspect of like having healthy conversations where people get through things is really good. Like, for example, in the Turbo Discord, and in the first sort of like week or two that it was going on, there was a lot of like very loud differing opinions in the general chat, but people would like give their input and respond in certain ways. And by the end of it, I've never seen this in a Discord before. People were like, wow. In this Discord, like, maybe I don't agree with you, and you don't agree with me, but I think it's gonna be okay. And people were just like all commenting and like leaving emojis. Like, did we all just like solve this problem together? Like, this community is amazing. So I think the more that you can kind of push yourself to thinking a little bit deeper about those questions, and like maybe like it's okay that people don't necessarily agree with you, and like finding some way to be like, how do we move on from this? Like in a way where we're both going to keep going, like in a way that's not like your ego stepping in being like, well, I don't give a fuck, or well, I'm going to show you, like I'm just going to go be amazing now to like show you. It's like you don't need to show anybody except for yourself. And you don't necessarily like, what even is being amazing? As long as you're like out there doing things and standing by what you believe in, and then like standing up for others in what they believe in, if it's similar to you, and then like kind of learning how to communicate in ways where you're also still learning about these opinions that maybe you don't believe in, but someone else does. And like, how do you vibe with them? Like, as long as you're just even on that journey and choosing to be by choice, like you're where you're supposed to be.
Mm.
You're like in the right spot. Like, you don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know how to like how to not cry if someone says something mean to you or something. Or you don't need to like say like, oh, I feel stupid because someone said this thing and it was like so stupid, but like I ran into the bathroom and cried. You know, like it's okay. It's all good. No one's dumb and no one was wrong or right. Like, it's just such a learning experience. And the reason why these things do matter is because the Web3 environment kind of like really stokes these fires like at a very rapid pace. Like you hear it in crypto all the time, Cheffo. Like a week feels like a year in crypto, you know? So like if a week feels like a year, that means we've had a year of emotions and relationships and interactions happening within that week as well. So I think it's important to kind of like not be so hard on yourself and stuff too, and just if you're a part of the conversation moving forward, you're in the right place. You know,
You have to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I very much agree with that. People should just like a great painter. You know, you need to also have a unique voice, and that.
Well, everyone's voice is unique. You know.
Yes,
some
but
way.
some people don't. First of all, have the freedom of speech.
Yeah, that's true.
Secondly, some people are just, whether it's anxiety or shyness, whatever they call it, like there's something holding them back from like sharing themselves with the world and their opinion. You know, oftentimes like there's literally politics, or there's things within groups that mimic politics and, you know, political, I don't know, things that happen within those environments, good and bad. And so for various different reasons, you know, it's sometimes hard to have a unique voice, but at the end of the day, you want to have a unique voice because it's the thing that you can stand behind. It's the thing that people, yourself as a person can learn from the most, as well as like helping other people learn about you. If you are wishy-washy or you're following all the time, then no one really knows what your motive is. And so, yeah, for me, clarity is super important. I think, you know, for project leadership, clarity is super important. I think within DAOs, clarity is beyond super important.
I do think
yeah,
I like what you said though about it being for leadership, because I do think it's okay to like, you know, following isn't necessarily like bad either. Like, and some people it takes them a little bit more time to like learn about something that they like, join a new community.
It's only going to take you so far, though.
Yes, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that observation period we kind of talk about a lot. You do like, I feel like if you want to sort of like step forward in more of a leadership role, you do have to have that moment where you kind of come out of that observation period and start having that voice and start leading with what you've observed, you know, like,
Well, and part of that is experimentation. You have to be willing to experiment.
and build in public.
build in public.
Be willing to fail in front of people.
You know, you got all sorts of phrases, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, we do it like literally professionally now, being part of the Nouns, and I think that there's a very, very, very small group of people that are experiencing that currently. And obviously, it's the goal of the group to grow that and to create that into something, into an experience that people in every part all over the world can enjoy.
Yeah.
And it will take time, it'll take years, it'll take decades to grow blockchains, grow DAO voting. We've talked about it quite a bit as far as some of the different dynamics that still kind of need to clarify themselves for the industry, and part of that is it's probably the one that can't be measured. It's the one that's not going to be litigated. It's the one that's not going to be regulated. It's human behavior. You know, like some of those things you can actually regulate, and they are. Like there's certain things you can or cannot do, and yada yada. But at the end of the day, like how someone acts on Discord or as a member of a DAO or as a project leader or as someone who is a, you know, blue chip holder, like those things are fairly immeasurable and very nuanced. And so it kind of goes back to having a unique voice, figuring out your platforms, being consistent. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, we're all learning, and our individual behaviors will look nothing like this 10 years from now. And our group behaviors will also look nothing like this. And there will be also similarities in those situations. And so it's kind of like saying, you know, what is a shoe going to be? Well, you know, shoes these days are very different than shoes before and different than shoes before that, but they're also all shoes. And so it's like there will be similarities and there will be a lot of growth opportunities throughout the process. And I think, yes, I personally appreciate when I find members of the community that are willing to have a unique voice and share that. And as we talked about earlier, you know, using the vote reason and putting your vote publicly and your reason publicly immutably on the blockchain is incredible. Yes, and I think
because it gives you the
will
opportunity
benefit everyone
to use your voice and
Yeah.
say, hey, like this is why I'm voting, like whether or not whatever anyone agrees with it or not, like, you know. And
when it can't be used, I mean, it can't be like, I guess it could be used against you in the sense if someone doesn't like it, but like your vote is on the blockchain, and that's the immutable nature of it. That's the beauty of it. It's like not only do you have to own your vote, the community has to own the vote. There's no way to bury the vote or back channel it or you know, that kind of thing. It's fascinating, you know, the immutability and what it really does already bring to the blockchain.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll see people working on ways to do private data and all these things, which are necessary use cases. But for me, I really think that we're going to see some incredible value sets in public information on the blockchain, like driver's licenses, like food data, like homeless data.
Well, and now you really can like
and
use
so
AI
on.
to sort of like make your experience even more like fluid and like unique, like with all the different types of AI things that are happening here. I do want to like touch on this, like as we're sort of getting the last 20 minutes of this show. Chef, I know I told you about this before. I'm just going to share it to the screen right now. But
What are you sharing?
Speaking of
Aubtoshi?
AI,
I'll pull it up here on my phone.
Elon Musk's brain implant company
Oh God.
Neuralink
Banana smoothie?
announces FDA approval of in-human clinical studies.
Oof.
That's crazy. And the only reason I brought this up, and I'll go back to us while I try to find this tweet that you sent. Did you send that from your? You did send that from your thing.
Yeah, Cheffo.
Of this like monkey. Let's see. That this has already happened. Okay, they've already been testing this in animals. I don't think that this is Neuralink. Look at this thing here. I'm going to go to window capture. Here's this monkey. Look at it go.
So the monkey started off by
Oh, wait, here.
being trained to play a game where you hit the ball with the two things on the screen.
Crap. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
And
it's the first one.
And then if it got it right, it would be rewarded with a banana smoothie.
And you see how in this one he has the controller in his hand. So the straw in his mouth gets him a banana smoothie when he dings it correctly. And so he's using the controller to do basically a very simple Pong style game. Then this video here, they unplug the controller but keep the controller to the monkey. So the monkey's still associating the fact that it's using the controller to make this happen, but the controller is not plugged in, okay? Then it ends with them taking the controller away, and the monkey is sitting there with the friggin' just chowing down on this banana smoothie. I can't even imagine how much banana
He's
smoothie this monkey had.
multitasking.
He chowing down on the banana smoothie, thinking with his own I don't know how this works. Like, I'm very much do not understand this. So you're just like thinking it. You're like, that pong ball is going to hit over there. Like, are you controlling the sides? Are you controlling the ball? Like, what is even happening?
I understand kind of basically how it would work, like
that's crazy.
from like your eyes to your, but like I don't understand how the signal is being sent out. Is it like a Bluetooth wave like coming out of your head? Like,
and then if it is a Bluetooth wave or something weird like that, like if you like walk by someone else's like Neuralink, are they gonna like? Is there gonna be interference? Can you like hear their thoughts? Oh, okay. Well, let's go back to this article. Here's a question for you. Let me just read this real quick. Neuralink, the neurotech startup co-founded by Elon Musk, announced Thursday it has received approval from the Food and Drug Administration to conduct its first in-human clinical study.
What if it was hacked?
Well, let's see. The implant aims to help patients with severe paralysis regain their ability to communicate by controlling external technologies using only neural signals. Scary. The extent of the approved trial is not known. Okay, basically, here's my question to you, Cheffo. If you could get this, would you?
Not in the first wave. But after...
You're just going to let the other people just be the guinea pigs for that?
A decade of testing, I would consider it, yes.
I get that they're definitely going to start using it for... It's not like... You know, this is such a first step still. Obviously, like, the animal trials were the first step, but I really get that they're going to use this, like how they said, with people who have like extensive paralysis who literally can't talk, to see if they can like fix that first. Like, it's not like we're all just going to be able to like go into like an Apple store and be like, "Hi, one Neuralink, please." Like, I don't think it's going to be as common, but one day it could be like as common as plastic surgery. Like, instead of like getting a brow lift or lip injections, you go in and get your Neuralink. I don't know.
They're probably going to be rather easy to install.
That is terrifying.
Like, it'll just be an injection.
Yeah, I guess my thing, like, that I'm instantly thinking is like, okay, so what if it, malfunctions? What if it crosses waves with someone else?
You're going to scare yourself here, Aubtoshi.
No, there's also like tons. Oh, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of it.
Would you get it?
Well, because
you're over here asking me.
No, I would not.
Ever, never.
I'm not saying ever, never, but not, again, now. Definitely no. But like, there's so many other waves out there, like radio waves, like frequencies, Bluetooth, like the internet, different internet routers from each person's different separate place. Like,
maybe we'll get Elon on here for Lucky one day.
It's going to be fascinating actually to see in these trials, like what happens. It's obviously going to be a miracle if people who cannot communicate begin to be able to have the chance to communicate again. Like, obviously that's really a great thing, you know? I think that would heal a lot of families out there who, you know, any type of severe health issue with one family member, the entire family is dealing with that and feeling it. Obviously, the person it's happening to is getting the worst of it. But as a family member who's trying to deal with like extreme illness or sickness, like, you know, you're like a support system, and that can be like just so difficult. So I can imagine that that this could maybe help a lot, especially if communication was sort of the thing being solved at first. But I do know from past interviews that Elon's given, like, he has given out, like, throwing out random questions. Like, wouldn't it be cool instead of like Googling, like you could kind of just like think your Google question and then like it happens. And then as we know now with
like,
ChatGPT,
what if you could like, you never had to like, you're like in the kitchen and you're baking and you never had to like look up how to, you know, what's the recipe for my chocolate chip cookies? What's the recipe for this? Like, all of a sudden you're just like remembering it. That's the part I don't quite understand is like
Yeah,
how the
it doesn't make sense.
information is going to be brought forth in packets. Like
Well, it's
how,
like AI in your brain.
right. And like, but then like where, like, okay, so then this thing figures out something, but then like where does that live? Or does it have to be this just like,
No idea.
uh, it'll be really interesting
We
to
got to
see.
ask Elon.
It'll
Let
be
me
really
see if I could
interesting to watch, to say the least. But
Well, here's a little summary. So Neuralink is building a brain implant called the Link, ooh, which aims to help patients with severe paralysis control external technologies using only neural signals. This means patients with severe degenerative diseases like ALS could eventually regain their ability to communicate with loved ones by moving cursors and typing with their minds.
that's an incredible use case.
Let me see what else. The FDA and Neuralink did not immediately respond. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's not important. Neuralink is part of the emerging brain computer interface or BCI industry.
Mm,
Oh, damn, there's a whole industry?
of course.
Of course. Oh my God. Just you guys, DYOR, before you get anything in your brain, just like make sure you're checking out what these companies are. Okay, a BCI is a system that deciphers brain signals and translates them into commands for external technologies. Neuralink is perhaps the best known name in the space thanks to Musk. Okay, let me just see if it kind of gives us a breakdown. It says they've been studying this technology for decades,
Mm.
and several companies have already deployed promising systems that they hope to bring to market.
I mean, they've been studying,
Apparently, no one's gotten the final seal of approval.
know,
So the FDA will approve like human trials, but no one yet, and
Yeah.
any of these companies that have been doing these studies has been like
maybe
given like the go ahead.
maybe it was the banana eating smoothie monkey that got it over the line.
I'm just like sad thinking about how that monkey had to go through brain surgery because it says Neuralink's BCI will require patients to undergo invasive brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Its system centers around the link, a small circular implant that processes and translates neural signals. That's just like insane. The link is connected to a series of thin, flexible threads inserted directly into the brain tissue where they detect the neural signals.
Mm-hmm. I get all that. I just don't know
Patients with the device will
how
learn
do
to
they get
control
it
it using
out
the
of the
app,
head. How do they get it out of the
a
head?
Neuralink app.
Right, but that means it's Bluetooth connected.
Yes. Patients will then be able to control external mice and keyboards through a Bluetooth connection.
That's fucked. That's
Imagine like
insane.
accidentally like airdropping someone like
Bro, your brain.
I'm thinking of all the ways that like this could just like go wrong, but I know that okay, we got to focus on the positives here. The FDA's approval for an inhuman study is a significant win for Neuralink. Okay, keep going. I want give me the juicy bits. Tell me what's happened that's weird.
That's not weird.
Neuralink has come under fire from activist groups for its alleged treatment of animals. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which advocates against animal testing, has repeatedly called on Musk to release details about these experiments on the monkeys that had resulted in internal bleeding, paralysis, chronic infections, seizures, declining psychological health, and death. That is obviously unfortunate, but like, how are we ever supposed to learn how these things work if we can't do tests? Is my thing. I've always thought about that. I know it's like it's a weird, terrible give and take thing, but like literally, how are we supposed to know? Things obviously have to be tested. Like the whole basis of an experiment is to like test it out, like a theory. Let's see.
I am usually going to come down on the side of science on that one.
In addition to helping with patients with paralysis, experts believe BCIs could someday help treat maladies like blindness and mental illness.
Mm.
Can you imagine getting a chip in your brain? You could just see again. Musk has expressed his intent for Neuralink to explore these future use cases, as well as potential applications for healthy people. At a show and tell recruitment event
Let's be very, very, very clear. There's no universe where they're doing all this just for people who have disabilities. Like
that's the next test. It's in human trials.
It's literally going to be tested on people with disabilities for good or for bad.
Or
however
who have
you
like
feel.
a chronic illness, like maybe they
Correct.
don't have a lot of time left anyways.
And then it's gonna get
No offense.
it's gonna get sold to the general population, and yeah, game over.
Musk, this is a quote from him. He says, at a show and tell recruitment event last year, Musk even claimed that he plans to someday receive one of Neuralink's implants himself.
He has to say that.
This is his quote. You could have a Neuralink device implanted right now and you wouldn't even know, said Musk at the time. In fact, in one of these demos, I will.
You know, one
Damn.
day he will.
Damn.
But I guarantee you it's not the first version.
That is we should have started with this story because now, like, we started with the inspirational story of like making it, and now we're like, what about the brain chips? Damn.
What would Picasso and the French think of the brain chips? I mean, the French do that. They do like a good bit of science, but they are also very into tradition, and so that that's gonna, frankly, as many most cultures around the world are. It's like, how do you square tradition with technology like this? That's an insane one. And
Wow.
then you'll have vehicles and different modes of transportation, and then is like this thing going to be able to control
Dude,
that?
well, think
So,
about the
like,
cell phone alone,
or
right?
what if you could just be you're not even driving anymore, you're just in this thing and you're just like looking, and like where you look the car could like go there.
Well, you already won't even have that control. Like cars will just be self-driving
Yeah,
themselves
and
to
they,
your destination. But like like, think about the cell phone. Like the very first cell phones, like could just call. Like then, oh my God, you could text, and then you could go on the internet. Like obviously, like communication being this first thing is what they're going to test out. But I'm sure that there's going to be like, I'm sure they've tested like, if people have been testing this for decades. Oh, that is insane.
well, and yeah, I mean, I think that we have gotten more and more sophisticated at looking at brainwave technology and figuring out what this little blip on the thing means and what this one means from over here. We're getting
From like the
better.
brain scans and everything.
Yes, we've gotten a lot better with brain surgery as far as like getting in the brain, doing things, and then getting out without
Yes.
hurting people. So we've gotten better on different mechanical levels like that. Yeah, absolutely. And then on the other side, like we've gotten a lot better at software development, because there's no point in putting these things in someone if you don't have the computer software to actually like sophisticated software to run these things. So there is that as well.
Well, and it's not like it's just this brand new thing that has to like then grow. It's like it's only possible because Bluetooth happened, and Bluetooth has
I
now
can't believe we
developed.
still call it Bluetooth. Like that's insane to me. Also, guys, like we've had Bluetooth for a while, and
What would you call it?
I don't know, man.
You almost said link. That is literally like the neural.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like wouldn't
link up.
wouldn't they come up with their own tooth, like a
Do you think it was called Bluetooth though? Because remember how
no?
it was
There's
just an earpiece.
There's a story as to where the name Bluetooth comes from. I don't remember it, but you can DYR. There's history to that.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Neuralink thing, I feel like in different industries, there's always different levels of cutting edge technology. Neuralink is kind of pushing it on many different levels.
Bluetooth is the anglicized version of the Scandinavian word that I am not even going to try to pronounce. It was the epithet. I'm so sorry. Of King Harald Bluetooth, who united the disparate Danish tribes into a single kingdom. So the company founder chose the name to imply that Bluetooth similarly unites communication protocols.
Right. Like it was a tech that was developed and someone just chose that as the name, and it's literally now like one of the most, used terms
King Harald Bluetooth.
in our world.
I know about other kings, like the Hawaiian king, King Kamehameha, who united all of the Hawaiian islands together. Like, it'd be funny if it was like called, instead of a Bluetooth, like Kamehameha. See, a Bluetooth kind of now, if you compare those two, is kind of the easier choice, right?
Yeah, dude, my Kamehameha is not working over here, dude. Like,
Yeah, my Kamehameha.
my Kamehameha is not working over
Yeah,
here.
can you turn your Kamehameha on? I'm trying to airdrop you something.
Hello, Kamehameha. Just
He did
unplug
unite the
it and plug it
tribes.
back in.
Everybody knows it. That was my trivia question that I got right.
What was it?
Which Hawaiian king united all of the islands?
Oh, I'm going to tell that story, Aubtoshi.
Okay, this is your final last words. I was going to ask you for your final words as we close out the pod.
Well, today here, Nouns on the Air, we're celebrating Con with our places, focus, but I must say, one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time is Aubtoshi walking into a bar in Ann Arbor, Michigan, freezing snow, freezing winter storm, just delusional. It's so cold. We walk into this bar, make our way up the stairs, past the guy checking the IDs. We go to the bar, and this speaker voice comes through the room and says, "What was the question, Aubtoshi? What? Who?
Which Hawaiian king united all of the islands?
And who was the speaker asking, Aubtoshi?
Probably just everyone in the room, I thought.
Nope. It was more of a redundant question that was not supposed to be said out loud because it was trivia night. And the entire room looked at us. The bar went quiet. The whole room looked
Why
at
did
us.
they look at us?
Because you yelled the answer at the top of your lungs and pretty much were like super proud of yourself.
I was so proud. The one trivia question that I'd heard, I'm like, I know the answer to that.
So, yeah, I guess maybe more people would have known the answer if that's what we called Bluetooth instead.
Yeah, someone was on the mic after. They're like, please don't say the answers out loud. It's like, oh, I didn't. And they you look around, people are at tables with pencils and papers and stuff. I'm like, oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, that could have been someone's winning question.
That was a free answer for everybody. Yeah, I know. But who knows that? Nobody knows that. Now you guys know that. Stream.
Aubtoshi knows it.
Well, Cheffo, thank you as always for joining us. Our favorite co-host, our resident chef. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. It looks like the sun is setting behind you. I can tell that that's happening.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll see what kind of pre-show meal we have. Hopefully it's not a heavy pasta.
Yeah,
maybe
that was hard.
Maybe we can have dinner here on the show. That could be fun. I don't know if people would like that, but I think the food is wonderful.
Me just munching down. I don't know if the podcast audio listeners would like that, but
hey, that's ASMR, right? I thought everyone liked it these days.
Thank you so much.
But hey, thank you so much. Bonjour.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. C'est bon.
I'm gonna
Cheffo
go
out of here.
Bye, Cheffo.
Bye.
Just gonna close out on the main screen here. As always, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Nouns on the Air. We're live every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST, that's on the West Coast for everybody who doesn't know that. That means that it's 7 p.m. in France. I hope our French friends tune in to our show next time. We will be back tomorrow on a Saturday show, my favorite. Let's go. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Subscribe if you guys haven't so far, please.